honest, I was not expecting so many familiar faces here tonight. Because I don't really do this. I'm kind of nervous. You guys mind?
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no. All right. I always feel better when my church closed. Who else was super relieved to find out this was not Greg Batten's prostate? I appreciate the intro, Greg. He says I'm Peoria's funniest attorney, not because it's true, but because that's what they call the fine print. That's what we lawyers call the fine print. You see, I don't want to undersell the next 15 minutes of your lives, but he says that, so at the end of this, when you're all like, oh, that sucked, you can say, well, we never said he was funny. We said he's funny in the context of the limited population of licensed practicing attorneys in the city limits of Peoria. So, compared to those 12 guys, yeah, he's kind of funny, I guess. Implicitly, what he's saying is that at this very moment, somewhere just outside Peoria, there could be perhaps dozens of hilarious attorneys, CPAs, undertakers, and you'll never know, because you're stuck here for the next 0.3 billable hours. Do we have any dog lovers in the crowd tonight? That is the cheapest applause line ever. My dog. Some dogs learn dumb stuff. Fetch, roll over. Who gives a shit, right? My dog learned an actual life skill this year, something that he can implement on a daily basis to help make himself a better dog. And specifically what my dog learned this year is that if you go out into the backyard and eat poo all day long, it will kill you. Yeah. In fact, that's like really the only defining characteristic of my dog. If he ever ran away and the police came and wanted a report, I'd have nothing. I'd have, well, he's a dog and he eats poo. That's, if you see him, let me know. I guess to be fair, he does one other thing. He sometimes projectile vomits poo. Kind of Jar Jar Binks style. Like right in the middle of your fancy dinner party. And in case I haven't made myself clear, this isn't like occasionally grabs the wrong salad fork at dinner approach to this. This is like family night at Old Country Buffet every day of the week for this dog out there in the yard. And I'm sensing a judgmental vibe, and it's making me a little bit uncomfortable. So I do want to say a couple words in defense of my dog. Despite what you may think, he actually has a pretty sophisticated palate. He is very particular to my other dog's cooking. Prefers to take his meals fresh out of the oven. Yeah, there's no 5-second rule where he came from. Could be germs in that grass, damn it. Yeah. He's the guy that walks into Sweet Cece's and waves off the girl handing out the cups. Not gonna need one of those, honey. Likes to keep his nose pressed right up against that Easy Bake Oven, waiting for the timer to go off. Have I made my point yet, or should I continue? So eventually, it catches up with him, because as I said, if you subscribe to that dietary lifestyle, it can kill you, so we had to take him to the vet. Now I know a lot of you in the crowd tonight, and honestly I can tell by looking at the rest of you that you've had some awkward conversations with doctors. I can tell that. But this one took the cake. When that veterinarian walks in, "What seems to be the problem today, Mr. Smith?" I'd rather tell him just about anything. I'd rather tell him that I contracted herpes at a clown convention than tell him what seems to be the problem today. But tell him I must. And this really brings me to to the central thesis of my keynote address tonight. And that is, why do we as a society spend so much time hating lawyers when we should really hate veterinarians instead? I'd like to throw that out there. Because upon telling the veterinarian what seems to be the problem today, normal human reaction would be to douse us in holy water, run screaming from the room, all of the above. But you can't charge for that, can you, Mr. Veterinarian? No. So this guy does what veterinarians do, and that is, they've got an answer for everything for the right amount of money. So he looks the dog over. Oh yeah, not a problem, he says. Quick surgical procedure, we'll have it back up and going in no time. Between anesthesia, the rehab, the nursing care, get you out the door for about $5,000. $5,000? Like, did I have a stroke? It sounds like you just had $5,000. And you've all been there. I'm standing there thinking, I paid $150 for this dog at the dog pound 9 years ago. So you're telling me that for the cost of 33 1/3 brand new, presumably non-shit-eating dogs, you think you could fix this one? Point number 2, didn't hear you say anything about brain surgery. So, unless you did, it sounds to me like best case scenario, that dog's walking out of here just as fucked up in the head as he is already. What good does that do me? Point number 3, if that was me laying on that table, I guarantee you my wife, love her to death, she'd be the first person standing there going, honey, we're into kind of a gray zone on living will at this point. $5,000, that's a lot of money, and I really want those new cabinets, so how about you just tap out at this point? The dog's fine, by the way. Yeah. Kids had to take a year out of college, but he's okay. I meant to say this earlier for all the familiar friends and just familiar faces that are here, and I mean this sincerely. You fuckers better be at my wake when I die. It's easy to show up when you think somebody's gonna make an ass out of themselves, but there's nothing exciting about a funeral. Anybody from out of town? I heard Texas, Pekin. Indy, yes, great, good. Oh, it's those. Okay, settle down. I'm just trying to set up a joke. As you might have guessed, I am kind of a ambassador of goodwill for Peoria. So I would like to give you a couple of tips to help you enjoy your stay here in town. There's really 2 things you need to know about Peoria, 2 important things. Thing number 1, 2 years ago, we, the voting citizens of Peoria, rose up and demanded that our sales tax be increased substantially in order to pay a Chicago hot dog stand to open a franchise here. Yeah. That's where our priorities are. Education, don't give a shit. Infrastructure, that's boring. Move on. Portillo's hot dogs, though. Now you've got us. Tax us like Bernie Sanders and Michael Dukakis on a spring break bender. That's thing number 1. You don't own the Portillos, do you? Thing number 2 you need to know about Peoria. We are in about year 3 of a multi-agency community improvement project spearheaded by local law enforcement. And the name of this community improvement project is called Don't Shoot. They sat down, thought of every possible name for a community improvement program skipped right over serve and protect, took a hard pass on building a bridge to tomorrow through blah, 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 and landed right on don't shoot. And it's working because as of this point in time, that has become the traditional greeting that we Peorians give to one another when we meet on the street. Hey, morning, Dave. Don't shoot! Don't shoot! They're very proactive, these people. It's been 3 or 4 years, like I said, so they're going to do a refresh just to kind of track the progress of this community improvement program. I think I read this. This is coming up, I think it's October 1st. They're going to freshen up the name, and starting October 1st, they're going to change the name from Don't Shoot to Fuck It, Shoot Whoever You Want. We don't care anymore. We're going to see if reverse psychology works. But that's Peoria, ladies and gentlemen. You may be shot dead at any moment, but there's a good chance you'll be enjoying a delicious Vienna beef hot dog in the So it's all good. I'm an amateur at this, so what I'm about to do is a little bit risky, but I would like to break this fourth wall just briefly and give a shout out to Kim Blinkenstaff. Big shout out to Kim. It's Kim's vision that made this possible tonight, so real big thanks for him. That's a dude, by the way. That's a dude named Kim. California people, huh? I guess we know Caitlin was taken, so you gotta pick from what's left. But seriously, if you see Kim out and about, take a minute, express your gratitude, thank him for all he's doing for this community. But the city council asked me to ask you one small favor. When you talk to him, please do not, under any circumstances, tell him that Caterpillar left like 2 years ago. Because I don't think he knows, and there's like a ton of shitty real estate we still want to sell to him, so. This brings me to the crisis of our times, and that is the identity crisis that we've been going through here in Peoria for the last several years. Used to be, I grew up around here, so for years, anywhere in the world, somebody'd say, hey, tell me about Peoria. It was easy. It's where Caterpillar is. Done. What do you tell them now? Yeah? I've discovered that the most efficient way of communicating a complex existential concept to simpletons is by telling a story. So now, when somebody asks me to tell them about Peoria, cocktail party or whatever, I tell them this story, this actual true story that I really think distills the essence of Peoria. And I encourage you to use it too. The story goes like this. Just a couple months ago, a local woman went to a drive-through fast food place, and before she pulled away, checked her order, realized it was wrong. So she politely notified the attendant, who was not happy to receive that bit of feedback. Snatched the bag away, disappeared for a few minutes, came back, shoved it at her, slammed the window, and disappeared again. Woman checked her order again, now she's suspicious. And at this point in telling the story, I find that for both accuracy and effect, it is most useful to read directly from the Honest to God police report that was filed with the Honest to God PPD, it's the Peoria Police Department. And I quote, upon rechecking her order, the complainant, the woman in the car, ascertained, that's cop speak for figured out. Woman in the car figured out that her order now smelled like urine and vagina. I know, honey, make up your mind. Which one is it? And what are you, some sort of bloodhound human cyborg? You in a hurry to get back to the Isle of Dr. Moreau, are you? What the hell? The point being, ladies and gentlemen, you tell that story and you are done talking about Peoria. There are no further questions. None. In fact, you tell that story and you are now free to enjoy that cocktail party completely uninterrupted by any human contact whatsoever. Now, you will encounter the occasional doubting Thomas, and I want to equip you with the necessary tools. So I will tell you the crime scene in this particular case. It was a Hardee's. Yeah, that's the point when everybody's like, God, that really was true. Just had a urine burger at Hardee's, like, wait, for God's sakes. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Hardee's. I also want to make that clear. Hardee's, they're the one restaurant, they don't patronize you with a bunch of healthy lifestyle bullshit. No, you're watching a ball game, a Hardee's ad comes on, they just hit you right between the eyes, don't they? They're like, hey, fat ass. Yeah, the human manatee. Guys whose thighs are fusing together with the couch cushions. Here's our latest 14,000 calorie pile of crap. Why don't you come up out of your mom's basement for 5 minutes? Shove this down your puke hole. And at this point in your typical Hardee's commercial, they actually show the subject food product dropping on the floor for some reason. Last one I saw was called the Apocalypse Now burger. It's a quadruple thick burger with 4 scoops of Crisco and a ½ pound of deep fried hog entrails on top. It's on a bun made out of a jelly donut and a defibrillator paddle. Had a tetanus shot sticking out the top instead of a toothpick. You order the meal, you got a large carton of unfiltered cigarettes and a 32-ounce IV bag of insulin. Yeah. If I seem a little bit wound up tonight, a little bit amped up, it's because recycling's coming up this week. And, you guys know what I'm talking about? I don't want to be like anti-environmentalist, but I hate recycling day because, see, here's the deal. Recycling day is the day that the perfectly maintained facade of your suburban life is stripped away, and you and your petite little empty nester wife announce to the world that once again, somehow the two of you have managed to fill a 72-gallon drum with nothing but beer cans and wine bottles. It sounds like they're throwing a crystal chandelier down a marble staircase every morning. And the neighbors are the worst. No offense, Mike and Kelly. You're so judgmental. I was standing there working in the yard. These 2 guys came walking by. First guy stopped. He saw this Jenga tower of booze. Says, Jesus, Joseph, and Mary, look at that. How bad must it be in that house? Other guy grabbed him. He says, hey, dude. It's the guy whose dog eats shit all day long. You're drinking too. You guys have been great. I want to give you a little piece of this as my going away present. I want to share with you my pet peeve of being a lawyer in Peoria. I'll make this brief. I worked hard to get where I am. I'll just cut right to it. I'm a fascinating person. But in Peoria, upon being informed of my chosen calling, there is one question that every man, woman, child, and carbon-based life form wants to know, and that is this: do you know Jay Jansen? I cannot tell you how annoying that is. That's like when you meet a black guy for the first time, you immediately say, "Do you know Michael Jordan?" No, because why would you take two completely arbitrary data points and assume there's a connection between the two? Now, it so happens I do know Jay Jansen. If you haven't been, I cannot encourage you enough. Pack up the family, drive down there first thing Monday morning, just walk in his office and start wandering around. Do not worry about security, just tell him I sent you. It's cool. Because words can't do it justice, what you'll see inside. Like, you guys know Chip and Joanna Gaines, Fixer Upper, HGTV? It's nothing like that. It looks like somebody did an exorcism in a Chip and Joanna Gaines house, and Satan won. Like, the girl is mine, blah, and then vomit up my gold-plated toilet over here. It looks like what the crime scene might look like if Chip and Joanna Gaines were murdered by Liberace in a whorehouse in Bangkok. But I kid Jay, I do. I just saw Jay the other day coming into work, driving down 29, kind of by a Hofbrauhaus, and he went sailing by me in a pearl white 1976 Rolls-Royce convertible. It was magnificent. So I caught up with him at the next stoplight, rolled my window down, and I said, "Hey Jay, I have no doubt that car was a total pussy wagon back during the Carter administration. I am sure you were crushing ass like Henry Kissinger at the Paris Peace Accords. But up here in the 21st century, got this thing called the internet, cell phones. And I just found it online for like $6,000. So if you're trying to impress us, and let's be honest, of course you are, you need to step up your game. I want to see you drop a couple $1 million on whatever it is Kanye West is driving these days, because otherwise you just look like an old white guy driving around looking for a Shriners parade. Thank you.